The Department of Education has announced survey data showing that President Biden's goal of opening the majority of the country's elementary and middle schools by the end of his first 100 days had been reached ahead of schedule. So as of March, 54% of K through 8 schools were open for full-time in-person learning, and 88% were open for either full-time in-person or hybrid learning. So joining us now is United States Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona. Thank you so much for being with us, Secretary. We appreciate your time, and welcome to GMA 3.
Thank you, Amy. Glad to be with you.
So you announced yesterday some of that promising data that we just talked about, our nation's efforts to reopen schools. But when do you believe all schools will be back and running full-time in person, and what do we need to do to get there?
You know, those data are March data, and I expect that in April the numbers continue to climb. I really want all students to have that opportunity, including our high schoolers, before the end of this school year. I expect that in the fall, all students will have in-person learning opportunities 5 days a week. That's where they learn best. That's where they belong. And we're eager to be sharing best practices. We have a clearinghouse set up. So we want to support our states. The American Rescue Plan provides the resources that are needed. So we need to get it done.
I think that is really good news to parents, present party included here, to get our kids back into the classroom. But when they do return back to the classroom, Secretary, yes, they're going to have to do some work to catch up academically, but also socially, emotionally. What's being done to address all of those things?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as a father, I also have experienced what it's like to see teenagers returning back slowly, but that social emotional piece is critically important. And Amy, I really feel strongly that if we go back to how school was before the pandemic, we're doing a disservice to our students. We have to aim higher. We have to make sure social emotional supports are available to all students and all staff when they return. Mental health access is also critically important. So what we're asking states and districts to do is really rethink how they're providing those services, making sure that we're hiring enough staff to be available to our students and our staff and our families, because it's hard to learn if you're concerned about something or if you've experienced trauma and that hasn't been addressed. So that social emotional well-being of our students is going to be critically important to a successful recovery.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the staff. It is Teacher Appreciation Week. Important to note, I know you started off your career as an elementary school teacher. Talk a little bit, if you would, about what our teachers have been going through during this pandemic and what they've done to try and bridge this divide that we're all dealing with.
You know, I always say it shouldn't take a pandemic for us to appreciate the role of our teachers across the country. And I do want to acknowledge Teacher Appreciation Week, the amazing work that they've done. Their jobs changed from one day to the next. And they've been there for their students, not only providing the academic support and the social emotional support, but also food, comfort, support when students are experiencing loss. So we need to make sure that when we reopen, we provide them the support, the training, the ongoing training to help our students succeed when they come back.
Secretary, I want to touch on another subject here. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and 36 of his Republican colleagues sent you a letter from the Senate. The letter comes in response to your department's proposal for grants to incentivize the use of education programs that address systemic racism in our country, in our education system. The senators wrote, quote, taxpayer-supported programs should emphasize the shared civic virtues that bring us together, not push radical agendas that tear us apart. What's your response to that letter, Secretary?
I have complete confidence in the educators across the country to get it right. You know, the federal government, the Department of Education doesn't have a role in curriculum, but I have complete confidence, as I have had in the past, that our teachers and our schools and our school leaders and our district leaders know how to create a sense of community with curriculum. But it's important that our students see themselves in the curriculum and see their contributions to this country as well.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time again. U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.